created by the LTV Interns to highlight local talent and young entrepreneurs. I'm Cindy Panzier, a film student at Wesleyan University. Today's episode is the first in our Up and Up and Bay Street collaboration to welcome the 2022 summer interns. And today we have Paige Rosko here, an education apprentice intern. So, what is your position at Bay Street?
So at Bay Street, I am the education intern, and pretty much what that covers is I oversee all of the summer camps for ages 4 to 14, and I am also the production dramaturg.
So what does this position entail? What's your everyday life like?
Right now, before we start summer camps, we are currently in production, so I am in the city most days, working on the productions and rehearsals, with dramaturgy stuff. And then once we get into summer camp, I'm there bright and early, setting up tents, tables, make sure everything is good to go. I help with check-ins for the kids and making sure things run smoothly overall.
So how did you find out about Bay Street?
I grew up out here. The first professional theater I saw was at Bay Street. It was To Kill a Mockingbird. And I saw them 6th grade. And so once I decided theater was the route I wanted to go career-wise, I kind of was Bay Street's close and Bay Street's cool, and I know I like what they do.
What about this specific program this summer sparked your interest?
So this summer when they were hey, we're putting on 3 main stage shows and a musical, and there's going to be other interns, I was absolutely yes, I want to come back.
What do you study in college, and how do that interest and your interest at Bay Street kind of work together in collaboration?
We have a general theater major, and then I'm a theater studies concentration. So directing, dramaturgy, stage management are all kind of different classes I take while I'm there. And so working at Bay Street has given me kind of the opportunity to put those things into actual real life productions.
How do you blend the creative aspect of theater with the educational aspect of the job?
There's not a lot of creativity in administrative work, but once I get into the camp with the kids, I get to kind of start teaching them about these different aspects of theater. That's when it comes out.
What jobs has Bay Street kind of opened your eyes to that you didn't know were possible before?
Literary management is a big one, and what that is you would read plays, a lot of plays, and try to source out new plays and then give them to your artistic director, and the two of you would kind of work together to make your theater season. Another one is company management, and that's kind of overseeing everyone, but not the theater itself, but all of the people in it, and that's something I've been interested in. And then also the general manager of the theater, I've been talking to her a lot kind of about what her path has been. She just oversees everything, and doesn't have a lot of creative influence, but still oversees absolutely everything.
Do you have a favorite project or production that you've worked with at Bay Street?
Anna in the Tropics is the production we've done most recently. It's the first time I've been able to work on a professional production by myself, because I've done college stuff and this is my first branch into the professional world, and it's just been incredible.
So for those of us who don't know what dramaturgy is, how would you describe it?
So what dramaturgy is essentially pre-production and pre-rehearsals. I take the play and I pretty much try to learn as much as I can about the play, the playwright, previous productions, the world of the play. When was it, the time period that it's set in, the locations, any thematic pieces of it. And I take all of that research and combine it into a website. And I take the website and I give it to the director, the designers, and the actors so they can learn as much as possible about the production and where they are, where their characters are, without having to do months of research by themselves. And then once we get into rehearsals, my main job is kind of to watch and make sure things stay clear and nothing goes totally off the rails. I sometimes describe it as being a second set of eyes and ears for a production, because you get a very one-track mind when you're just in the rehearsal room 8 hours a day. So it's kind of an outside influence being hey, actually this doesn't make sense. We're over at Bay Street now, and I'm going to show you one of my dramaturgy websites.
This one is for Ragtime the Musical. I do use Google Sites to program all my websites because it is the easiest and most accessible way to make a website that I've discovered. So just to give you an overview, so Ragtime is a very historical musical. Most of the characters are historical figures. So I broke it down into main characters. These are characters with lines who sing. And for example, we click on Henry Ford. It's pretty much his biography, pictures and videos, and just all the information that I think it would be important for someone playing him and representing him on stage to know. Here we have 1906 in America, in the world, kind of so the actors can get a sense of what was happening around them in that time, and not just specifically what is happening in the play, but who was the president, what were major political events happening, and all of that. And then they go to a lot of different places in this musical, so New Rochelle, Harlem, Manhattan, Latvia, Ellis Island, Atlantic City. All of them have their own separate tabs. And then historical events, kind of the same thing. Things that were mentioned in the play are very important to the action of the play. So even when something is mentioned once in the musical, I still like to put it in the website just because it has some sort of impact by being there. Another part that is important that I include in all my websites is production information. So this breaks down the book writer, the lyricist, their collaborations, the production history of the musical, the book that the musical is based on, and the book writer. Most dramaturgs nowadays are kind of moving into websites. It kind of happened with COVID. Because we were doing a lot of virtual theater, we couldn't give out packets to people. But historically, a lot of the time, it's been paper packets. You just type up all your notes in a PDF and print it out and bring it to rehearsal. But websites are kind of becoming the norm now between virtual theater and, thinking about the environment and not wasting a bunch of paper. Thanks for joining me here at Bay Street. Back to the interview.
Just because no one really knows about it, how did you find out about it and how did you get interested?
I found out about it was sophomore year of college, and one of my professors was like, oh, we're going to do a midterm and we're going to do a fake scene and everyone has to pick a job. And she listed out all of them, and I was like, what's dramaturgy? That's and everyone was like, what is that? And then I kind of just explored it, and I kind of started I looked up what it was, and I was like, I still don't know what this is. Mm-hmm. And then I just kept going, and I kept asking professors, and I was like, wait, that sounds really cool.
So can you tell us a little bit about the dramaturgy industry professionally, and if there's community?
So I would say there's a professional community. We have an online community. It's Literary Managers and Dramaturgs of America. It's a group. And it's, forums and job postings and all that stuff where you can ask questions and kind of contact other dramaturgs and other literary managers. Some people are freelance and they just kind of look for jobs and never stay in one certain place. And then there's people who do just institutional dramaturgy, which is kind of what I'm doing now, where you're with a theater or a group and you kind of stay with them through all of their productions.
Why do you think not many people know about dramaturgy?
It's just not talked about because it's not seen as something essential to productions. It just really, really gives a deeper, richer meaning to the play when the actors are able to, fully get into their characters and know what was happening during that time outside of their little world. Mm-hmm. Who was the president? What was happening, in the media, in the news? What was technology like? And I think it really gives them a deeper understanding of their characters and who they are. And it helps everyone kind of understand this world better and gives, such a deeper, richer meaning to the play and to this, it just, I think, influences everyone to a next level.
How has it affected you personally, with your personal growth, being exposed to all these different productions and kind of really deep diving into a lot of information?
I am known to just spit out random facts at people now because there's so much I've learned about random stuff that I never would have even thought about before. And also, like, I feel like I just have touched like so many little like cultures and stuff like that, and it's just greater overview of the world as a whole and like where we come from and what we're going toward.
And you do a lot of blogging at school, specifically about theater. How do you think that has influenced the way that you've interacted with theater yourself?
Especially working with dramaturgy, there's a lot of times when you're like, you feel like underused or underutilized, and you're kind of just like sitting there like, maybe I should be more involved. Like, so just writing it all down and getting it out and having other people read it has been like really just helpful. Especially because some people will be like, well, actually, as a dramaturg, this is what I do when I feel like this. And so that has been like 1,000 times helpful. And it's just good to just have a community voice, I feel like. Even if it's not like a super popular thing, it's still good to just kind of have my voice out there.
So where can we find more information about your blog? What website do you use?
Yeah, so it's through the BroadwayWorld.com student bloggers program. So on BroadwayWorld.com, if you type in Paige Rosko, it will come up. All my articles will be there.
So what kind of skills or characteristics are necessary for this line of work?
Being self-motivated, I think, is a big thing, because there's really no one being like, hey, do this now, do this now, do this now. In dramaturgy and in just education in general, it's kind of you are in charge of your work, and just being, I mean, a good researcher, which is a hard skill, but being willing to read boring articles that you don't really care about, but you know it's for the greater good of the production, kind of having to give yourself over to sometimes like just super boring things.
How has your time at Bay Street helped you grow as an artist thus far?
I think my time at Bay Street has helped me grow as an artist because it's really given me real world opportunities. And it's given me the chance to kind of dip my feet into so many different things that I really wouldn't have the chance to in college.
So what's next for you? Short term, where do you see yourself?
Ragtime starts rehearsals very soon. We have an intern show, which is Indian Summer, and it's just all interns at Bay Street are working on it, on every aspect. And then we'll go from there.
And then before we sign off, just let the audience know where to find you on Instagram.
My Instagram is at paige.rosko, Rosko 27.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank
today.
you. Thank you for having me.